Hi, this is Stefan from Vanden Plas and you're watching Morow.com. We are just writing the music for our next CD coming out in 2015 called Netherland Part 2. If you like Part 1, go out and listen to Part 2. If you like it, buy it. Thanks a lot. So the story, it's split, I think, in about 13 or 14 chapters now, so it's a very long story. So Andy took the essence of the whole story and made a new story out of it. So to tell the whole story honestly, this is way too much. I think the most important is, beside the story, is that Andy worked together with Wolfgang Holbein to take the essence out of the story. That was the most important part he had to do. It's because to make the essence out of 13 or 14 books, it's a very hard work. And he had to take care about all the characters and all the story and all the different places where the story takes part. So this was a big challenge. And this was the first step. And then to transport this story to the stage and write music to that. This was the second big part, so it was a huge work. Sorry that I can't say the whole story of these 14 books. So I think if you listen to the CD when the next part, CD 2, is coming out in 2015, so the summary of this story is on these 2 CDs. I think from the starting point up to the moment we had the premiere at the theater, at least 2 years, at least. So first, as I tried to explain, first Andy had to go through all the books. He has to go through the characters which are necessary for the whole story. As I said, this is a big work. And then if you say, these are the main characters, you have to start writing the songs for these characters. You can't take just a song and say, this is the song for this person, this is the song for this person. It has to fix with this person. So, and we needed at the end about 20 songs. So finally we had to focus on the character and the person and the place where the story takes part and where it happens. And so we started to write the songs, and the songs were in a style of Vanden Plas, but we have to include a lot of different elements to create a special atmosphere for this Plot 9 production. So it was at least songwriting, writing on the story, writing on the lyrics, with all rehearsals, at least 2 years with the preparation, and then you have to work at the theater. It's a work about 3 months till everything is perfect to get on stage. So it's not like it's a story and 3 months later it's on the theater. Absolutely not. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Absolutely. Oh, I can. It's not that I just say it, but because it's a kind of promotion thing. But I can say he really liked it. For him, it was hard. Maybe hard in first place to see characters which he has in his mind, and now he sees these characters moving on the stage. I think this is very hard for someone who writes books, because he has a very special creation, and he has a very special feeling about a person. Maybe how this person looks, how this person acts, the good and the bad side of this person, and now he sees this person coming out of the book on the stage. So I think this was for Wolfgang at the first time maybe hard to see, but he was really surprised how good the transportation from the book to the stage was, and he's a fan of Vanden Plas. So he totally likes our CDs. He knew Vanden Plas before, so for him as he knew before that we did Abydos, that we did Ludus Danielis, that we did Christ Zero, he knew that we are experienced in what we are doing. And if you think about this, that he is the best-selling author of Germany, with about a fantasy author with about 40 million books worldwide. It's not you know, he's not regarding the scene for books. He's not a small person. He's a very big person, and I think he can't do something which is not professional, because it will come back to him. You know, if he does something like that, it has to be a perfect presentation, because he's so well known. Yeah. So he really liked it. He was at the premiere, and we talked a bit after the premiere, and he said, yeah, the songs fit perfect. So this was for us a really important part, that also the music is good for his story.
Was he involved in some points of the creation?
Yeah, the most important thing was that he was satisfied how Andy was working with his story. Because if Andy would do a story and Wolfgang wouldn't accept it, how Andy works with Wolfgang's invention, what's the word? I don't know with Wolfgang's creation. You know, he's also an artist, and he created something. And I think for an artist, it's all the time very hard if somebody else takes a creation and makes something else out of it. So they were in contact all the time, and also with Dieter Winkler, which is the manager from Wolfgang Holbein. He's also an author and writes books. So these three persons were in contact all the time when they wrote the story, and we're talking about the scene and the characters. So they were in contact, and Wolfgang was all the time involved, so he knew what's going on. I think this is important because, as I said, a person who wrote so many books and sold so many books, you have to take care that he's satisfied and that he likes what other people makes out of his creations. Yeah. First, it wasn't planned to make a CD out of this theater production, but a lot of people came after the show in the theater and they said, this sounds like Vanden Plas, a little bit different, but it's Vanden Plas. And we said, you sure? And they said, yeah, the songs, they fit perfectly to Vanden Plas. Why aren't you doing a CD out of this production? And then we were starting thinking about, yeah, we need to know. We already had the songs for the next CD written, but if the people like it that much, why shouldn't we do it? And so we were starting thinking about, should we do a regular Vanden Plas CD out of this theater production? And we were going through the songs after when the theater production was done, and we sat down and we said, yeah, Black Knight, for example, or Godmaker, it's a typical Vanden Plas song with new elements in it. So, and the other songs were maybe a little bit different, but we are a progressive band. I think it's allowed to go a little bit left or right beside the way we are going normally, and that's the way we did it. And the reactions from the press and from the fans was great. And so the only thing we had to do is to split it, because to do 20 songs on one CD, it makes no sense. And for a band like Vanden Plas to make a double CD, it doesn't make sense too. So we splitted it, so we had enough time to make the first CD ready, and now to finish the second CD. There are differences, but the thing is, when we started writing the song, you know, Andy was creating also the vocal lines, for example. So it was not Andy was used to all songs. That's the one part. The second is the songs at the theater stage were like 80–90% of the versions we have now, but there was no big solo parts or instrumental parts. So when we were going through the songs after the theater productions, we saw, this is a good song, but it needs a solo part or instrumental part. So we added some solo parts in it, and we listened to it and said, okay, we double it or we make it in another position. And so we worked on the songs, make some arrangements. For example, at the theater we had some huge choir parts. When we reduced it to more intimate parts, and on the other side we had smaller parts where we said we needed for the CD a big choir. So we made some changes like that, and we made some sound arrangements which had to be new, because theater and CD, it's not 100% the same. So we had to do that, and as I said, we added some solo parts. I think for the progressive rock scene, it's important. They need something instrumental, and not a song which is 5 minutes and you sing 5 minutes. So we did some solo, everything was fine. We see Vanden Plas since we did the first bigger productions at the theater. We have two sides of Vanden Plas. We have Vanden Plas Theater, and we have Vanden Plas Regular Edition. So let's call it like that. And it's like that. The theater part is very important for us, because we are artists. We have to earn money. We have to work for something like, we have to do something like that. On the other side, the regular stuff is where we can write songs like we feel it. At the theater, you have to take care, as I mentioned before, at the characters. We have to take care about the stage, and you have to take care how long should it be a song on stage, and if you have a big choir, or maybe a ballad, whatever. So there are more parts which influence the song. And for Vanden Plas, if you write a song, a normal song, let's say a simple song, we can write the music like we want. If you like to do a solo part which is 3 minutes, we do it. Yeah, there's no limit. And this is the most important difference between these two ways of working, because the way of writing songs, we have our a trademark, like the basic. I think you can hear every time it's Vanden Plas, and from this basic we can decide, okay, we move it more to the theater direction, we move it more to the Vanden Plas direction. And for this, it's the same for Andy's, for the songwriting, for example, also for the lyrics and for the vocal lines. If Andy has to create a vocal line for women, it has to be different than if he creates a vocal line for himself for the Vanden Plas CD. It's different. Also, you have different ranges at the theater. You have the bass, you have the tenor, so you have to take care about the keys, in which key you make a song. A lot of parts you have to take care. And with Vanden Plas, we know what is working for Andy and for the band itself. And we try on gods, they must fall. I think the whole thing we discussed and talked about in this interview is that we achieved it to play with the band all these years and to exist with Vanden Plas as musicians, as a band itself, and doing this theater thing makes Vanden Plas special somehow. I don't know if there's any other band who's doing that. So I don't know. We have, for example, Trans-Siberian Orchestra with Savatage, and this is the same thing maybe, but in a bigger thing. But they are not really on a stage; they are touring around. So, but I think that we are able to lift that Vanden Plas stream as musicians, and that we can focus just on music. I think this is something that we achieved. That is a really big thing, because a lot of musicians, they have to do a regular job, because the current music scene, it's so hard to earn money, to sell CDs, to get the chance to play live, to get a good tour support, or to get a to get a chance to play in a good club that a lot of people are coming. I think the bigger bands are getting bigger and bigger, but the smaller bands, for them it's getting even already harder and harder to get a good slot somewhere to play, maybe a support and all these things. And there are so many good musicians who can't focus just on music because they have to do a normal job to earn money. So that's the way it is today, and you can change it. And so I think we can be glad that we can focus on music. That's a big thing, and we are glad about it.